Hello, hello. What's up, gamers? Welcome to the Schmidt stream. Thank you, Farfa, for the 45 months. Welcome back. Appreciate you. I'm doing good, Chris. How are you today? I'm excited because it's been a while since I've played Genesys, and today is Genesys locals, which is cool. They're not doing them as often anymore. I think there's only one each month now. They used to be in the beginning. They did one regular, one Genesys, but now they're doing. I think every last locals of the month is Genesys. So yeah, it's been a while since I've played. Because last month I couldn't go. I don't remember what happened, but I couldn't go last month. But yeah. So that should be fun. We're gonna build a deck today. We're gonna have to pick one of two options. I'm not sure which one I want to play yet, but we're just gonna build both, and then I'm gonna decide. When I go. But yeah. All right, Cyrus77, thank you for 31 months. Welcome back. Runic? No, there's no Runics in any of the decks. Opinions on Runic Sky Striker in Genesys? Did they end up adding points to Runic Tip, didn't they? What is it, like 10 for Tip? I think they did put some points on it. I remember reading about it on the recent update. 10 points to Tip. Okay. I mean, technically, okay, very technically, you could build a deck that is like very control-y with like a lot of removal spells, and you just play like Sky Striker spells and Runic spells in it, and then what's your win con? Because you can't summon any monsters, so like you can't do any Sky Striker links, you can't do any Runics to synchro with or whatever. So are you just literally trying to deck out everybody? I mean, it's possible. Look, it sounds fun in my book, but I don't know if it's gonna be viable for tournaments with the friggin' time rules. But yeah. Is it Dragon Rulers? Dragon Rulers is one of the decks. So the decks we're gonna build today for Genesys format are I wanted to revisit Dragon Ruler. That was originally my plan. And then when I was looking for my Dragon Ruler core this morning to build it on stream, I found my Cool Tune core as well. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've tried Eniacraft at TCG at advanced locals, but I haven't found an opportunity to play Cool Tune at all yet. So I was thinking about trying that. And I know that's more meta than Dragon Ruler in Genesys format right now, but like realistically, I can't play that deck in advanced constructed at the moment. Maybe with the new support, it's a different story. But I really want to I wanted to get a feel for how that deck plays. So maybe we're going to do Cool Tune. I want to take a look at both today. We're going to make a list for both. And then I'm just going to decide what I'm going to take. Because like the Dragon Ruler list also realistically, since I've already played it before, it's probably not that different. Like it's not going to take ages to build a Dragon Ruler deck. The Cool Tune cards, I want to not only build a deck, but also like kind of understand what I'm doing with it. So I think looking into that is going to be fun and worth it. And then if the deck seems fun, then I might take that. And if not, then I might take Dragon Ruler. Honestly, the biggest reason to play Dragon Ruler is that they put so many points on Droll and Lockbird. Like that card was miserable to play against with Dragon Rulers. So I'm kind of excited to play Genesys again with Dragon Rulers in a format where I don't get drolled every single thingy. Have you charged your GoPro, sir? A, yes, I have. B, it wasn't the charging fault, actually. I thought it was the charging, the battery's fault, but the GoPro was broken. And I got a new one. I sent the other one back, and I bought a new one, and that one's working. And yes, I'm going to be recording today, and there's a 99% chance that it's going to work. Because I've already used this GoPro. I've already tested it, because we did RetroPack 2 draft at my home last week, which is also a video that you can look forward to. I've already recorded all of it. But yes, it's working. And I hope it's gonna work today. But yes, I've charged all the batteries. I've got a new GoPro, so we should be good to go. All right. Let's warm up real quick. Then we're gonna do something that I've just been feeling like after yesterday's stream. We're gonna do a paleo warm-up game for the first 10 to 300 minutes of the stream, and then we're gonna jump into some Genesys, and then if we have extra time after, then we're gonna play more Master Duel. That's the plan for today. All right, let's go. This is something holiday. Emperor's Holiday. This seems like this is an artifact. I think this is artifact Chakram. No. Artifact Caduceus? I knew it was something with a C. Ooh. This Samsara Kaiser. I don't know this one. Kokosho of Ghost Destroying. Okay. Ooh. Oh, dude. I've seen this 100%. Brain. Not brain control. Brain Golem? Brain Golem. Okay. Salamangrate Sanctuary. No idea which one of the birds it is. I have such a good Dragon Ruler list in Genesys. I'm still undefeated at my locals. I have a pretty good idea of how I want to play Genesys, how I want to play Dragon Rule, but I'll show you in a second. This is some Timaeus. Oh, Amulet. Amulet. Dragon. Not Timaeus. Okay, my bad. That is Melodious. Dude. It's canon. Yeah. No shot. Ooh, Musketeer? Yeah, that is Max, I think. Ooh, Gen Duradark. This feels familiar. This also feels very old. This is Rock Spirit. The Rock Spirit. Also feels familiar. This is a Noble Knight, right? Artorigus? Yeah. Don't know what that is. Sam Bell the Summoner. Oh, Buzzsaw Shark. One of the few sharks I know, actually, and I'm not proud of it. There we go. One of the ninjas. Ooh, that's the Rock Exceed. I think it's a rank 3, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it's not. Ah, it's Tiki. Tiki Curse or Tiki Soul? Oh, of course. Oh, who am I? Why did I even bother? This could be Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. I know my pendulums. This is Thunderbird. This is Ancient Gear. Skip. I don't know which one. Ancient Gear Factory. One of the sarcophagus, I think. Second Sark? First Sark. Dark Coffin. Ah. That is Siegfried. That is Galaxy Soldier. I think this is a synchro, but I don't know its name. Guy Armor Dragon Shell. Yeah, that's. I think that's a synchro, like 7 or 6. That is Dark World. This one. Didn't know how to spell it. Toon Defense. Sometimes I wonder myself why I know that and how I can tell from this. This is the new dinosaur thingy. Gigantozauler. Is this Liquid Beast? We had Pale Beast yesterday and I thought it was Liquid Beast. Yeah, this is Liquid Beast. This is another musket card. This is Magical Musket Desperado. Magical Musket Last Stand. Nope. Magical Musket Crooked Crown. Uh-huh. Oh no, this one. Not familiar. Iron Hammer the Giant. Okay. Ooh, this feels familiar. Green Kappa. Violet Chimera. I feel like I've seen this. I can't. No, I can't name. I have no idea. Vylon Element. It looks like Sparkman, but it's not Sparkman. Is that a hero? No. Oh, that's a code talker. Yeah. That's Hydrant. Oh, I have no discard. Is it something sphere? Transforming sphere. Yeah. Imdok. Gimmick Puppet. Riri Doll. No. Gimmick Puppet. It's not Nightmare. Feeler? Shadow Feeler. Okay. Oh, that's Nessie. Oh, I could have guessed that without a zoom. That would have been cool. No idea what that is. Inverse universe. Ooh, that's plunders, isn't it? But which one? The one that the flying one. Is that plunder? Uh, is it Blackbeard? No, Black Eyes. Yeah. Nope, not familiar. Gravel Storm. Feels like Rika. Rika Flurries? Flurries. Alright. Some pendulum support. Magical Star Illusion. That is original Grave Squirmer. That is a virtual world? Oh yeah, that is a virtual world. That is one of the extra deck ones. It could be GG. Yeah. This is Elemental Lord or Element Saber, I think. I think that is the Light Elemental Lord, yeah. Who are you? Ooh, that's Naturia Bane. I thought it was a Sylvan first. Oh, I'm not gonna try. I don't know what it's called. Noble Knight Dristan. Something Frightfur, but I have no idea. I can tell Patchwork. Frightfur March. Oh, I've seen this card. It's not Sphere Karibo, it's Kurivolt. Kurivolt. Draco Sack. What's going on? Ally of Justice Rudra. This is like the black luster thingy. Is it synthesis? Black luster synthesis super soldier? No. Nah. Beginning of heaven and earth. Yeah. Worm. Worm Arzus? Yep. X Saber. Yunlei. Red Eyes. Which one is that? Oh, Malefic. Like 2 points. Hazy Flame. Hazy Flame Manticore. I thought we could get 1,000 today. We were on very good pace. Royal Magical Library. Nova Summoner. No idea. Uradora of Fate. 951. 951. It's not washed at all. It was pretty good, but I thought we were on pace for 1,000. We were on pace for 1,000. The second half was worse than the first half. It was pretty good. All right. All right. All right, we are in my territory, guys. It's an old card. It's an ancient card, even, you might say. From before 2015, high level, high attack, high defense. All right, something big from back in the day. Judgment Dragon. Level 8. Level 8, effect monster, not dark, not light, from after 2008. So it's between 2009 and 2014, a level 8 monster, less than 3,000 attack. It is just an effect monster as well, not a synchro. Moulin Glacier. Hold up, what's the defense? Less than 26. Oh, it is an elemental lord, isn't it? What's the other ones? Grand Soil. Okay, easy clap. Nice. No problem. No problem. We get these easy. All right. And with that warm up out of the way, also Simple Simon 84, thank you so much for the Prime. I appreciate the support. Welcome back to month number 2. All right, we have a little bit of chill stuff planned for today. I'm going to go to locals later today, and I'm excited that it is a Genesys locals again. We only get 1 Genesys locals per month at the moment, so today is that day. So I want to build a deck for that. Actually, we're going to build 2 Genesys decks today because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to play. So we're going to talk about both, and then I'm going to have to pick one once we're done building. But that is something we're going to do. And because I'm going to locals, we're going to have to end stream a little bit early because I have to catch the train to be in time for locals. But that's going to be okay. Since outside of building the decks, we don't have anything too crazy planned for today. We're going to play a little bit of Master Duel in the meantime, or in the extra time that we have. But yeah, that's going to be it today. We don't have many crazy news to talk about or anything like that, so it's going to be some Master Duel and some Genesys. So it should be a chilled time. Is your local also going to do sneak peek? So for this one, I think not, because the locals are still relatively new. They are they've only become an OTS store like a couple of months ago, and they don't have the sneak peek yet. They tried to, but I think they applied too late or something like that. I'm not sure. So they don't have a sneak peek this time around. I could go to a different store for a sneak peek, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna have the time over the course of the weekend. Well, we'll see. Maybe I do. But we'll see. Not in that locals this time, but they should have it next time. But yeah, that happens sometimes. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna start things off. If Master Duel loads on my OBS, hello, yeah. We're gonna start things off with a little bit of a warm-up game with the Paleo deck from yesterday, just because I wanted to play one more game with that, just because I felt like it. That is gonna take us approximately up to an hour maximum. Then we're gonna build the Genesys decks, and then if we have more time after, we are going to we're gonna play some more Master Duel. All right. Just a little warm-up duel, you know? Just a little warm-up duel. Plushy Bell, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. We have just started. We're doing a warm-up game with Paleo, and then we are building some Genesys decks. Ooh, I've drawn two of the Draco Tail traps together. That means one of them will draw a card. I'm happy about that. The question is, do I set my rollback? I think so. All right, set 5 pass. I'm at home. What's the benefit of the Draco Tail traps? Well, they do something, let you bring back a Paleo, and they draw cards. And I'm particularly a big fan of Draco Tail Sting because it banishes my opponent's resources, which is a very big win condition for Paleozoic, is winning via grind game. Looks like we are playing against Malice, which I'm just so happy about, as you can imagine. Ice Dragon's Prison should be a pretty decent interruption against this deck in theory, right? Lingoribo is really annoying though. Why does it have the bonus effect of just like negating trap cards? I'm so mad about that right now. Do I horn it immediately to stop? Horn it. Okay. Of course, they let me bounce it because I'm not drawing a card. Ah, okay. Yeah. Draw Allure Gold. Dude, I'm... Why wouldn't you draw Allure? Dude, Allure, Banish White Rabbit, activate Gold Sarcophagus is insane. That's good for me, isn't it? Why didn't you chain this one? That was way better. Because now you have a white rabbit. Now it's not combo. Technically. I mean, if they have another extender, it's going to be, but... So that's the worst card in your hand, huh? That's good for me. So here's the thing. I might be able to stop them from playing, but just this turn, and then I don't have anything going on for me. No, I got nothing. I got nothing. Ah, second Ash. Love that for me. Yeah, now I really got nothing. All right, that doesn't count as a warm-up. That's just put me in a bad mood. That doesn't count. Trapaholic top deck would have been top deck Trapaholic would have been nice, yeah. I could normal summon Backjack to get info on yeah, okay, let's normal summon Backjack. If they Fuba, I won't link it off. Because I already have Queen Griefing anyways. The 50 card deck. I wonder what that means. Oh, it means Habakiri. Okay. Well, that's fair enough, I guess. That's really annoying. Because it means that I don't have a discard for Murakumo, so Murakumo is just an Omni Negate right now. Brago, thank you for the 40 months. Appreciate that a ton. Thank you so much. Activate Habakiri Chain Prayers. Tribute Habakiri. If I Fiend Griefing this Habakiri now, they can't search with it, so they would still be resolving Habakiri and Prayers though. So they can still definitely combo. This is crazy into called by, yeah, but I mean, I'm playing a 60 card deck and it's a 1-of, so kind of whatever, but... I'm kind of happy that they used the prayers so early. I think I'll hold. Search Futsu. Tribute Saji. Get 2 searches. And didn't summon with the prayers either. Right? I think I'll fire Needlebug Nest after. So that I can potentially get some Paleos engraved before I'm forced to activate these traps. Alright, they searched the trap. And the ritual spell. Okay, understandable. Trap. So they have trap, mirror, ritual spell, Futsu. Okay. Let's nest. You know what? I would do the same thing. I would also decide to draw pre-prep prayers, Uva, and Ash in 50 cards. So it's understandable. I would do the same. If I could. Yeah. Yeah. These are not great pickups. I mean, technically, getting a Paleo isn't the worst. Wrap and mirror. Wrap and mirror. Wrap, mirror, probably another prayers. No, Kusanagi. Okay, I can take a normal that for prayers. Fair enough. Wait, ritual? Do they have another one in hand? The problem is SP is really good here. SP fucks me up. Futsu in hand? No, they attributed Futsu. The thing is, Canadia here on the Murakumo is only a good play if they use its effect to negate. If they realize they don't have to do anything about it, then it's really bad if I activate it here. But if they basically, what I'm trying to say is, which is always true, if they're smart, I lose. But they're not. Okay, nice. Good. That's good. They don't have to negate this. This doesn't do anything. They could have just activated mirror next and tributed it face down. And then it would have come back. Now I can use IDP to banish the Murakumo. That is the most insane 50 card hand I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I mean, of course. What are you trying to do? Summon Futsu. Did you draw Aramasa? Ah, okay, that's bad for me. Isn't Sting better there? They have Mitsurugi Ritual, Mitsurugi Trap, and Habakiri in hand. If I get Sting, they get the Trap card live. I just can't have that. I have to negate this Ritual. So now they have Mitsu Trap and Habakiri that's already used. So technically they don't have a play for maybe a while. Because the EMZ is blocked. They can't really do yummy things right now. And Mitsu Trap plus Habakiri is not a play. So, yeah. Okay, nice. Okay. We'll take 16 from this SP. Shuffle in a dead Fuwa, I think. That was not necessary. That was my hand was actually not great there, or my position. Well, all right, we'll take it. I'm not bugging, right? If SP targets the trap, yeah. I'm not sure if activating the Fiend Griefing there was correct. Because what just happened was not that unlikely to happen, which was the fact that I bring back one Paleo, and then I'm kind of like stuck at that position where I can't get a second monster. I was basically between, I didn't want to give them too much time to top deck out of the situation with like another prayers or ritual spell or whatever. So I thought to myself, you know, like if I get some good trap cards off this backjack, because I had a second backjack in the graveyard, right? So I was like, okay, I look at the next 3 cards of my deck. I can get 1 trap from there immediately. I can decide my next top deck, and then the 3rd card I can get with the next backjack, right? So I thought like, okay, that would work out. But then the cards were 2 Olenoids and Rise to Full Height, which wouldn't have been much. But okay, yeah. Anyways. So yeah, my position was not good at all. They just left because I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Okay, gaming. Mighty Crowbat, thank you for the 37 months. Welcome back. Appreciate that. Josh, has Farfa asked you to send him 3 cards in the last week or 2? What do you mean send him 3 cards? I gave him a video where I did like the submissions for his cube draft he did, but that video is already out. That was a while ago. No, I don't think so. All right. We can play some more Master Duel later today, but we have to do something first because I am attending locals later today, and locals today are Genesys format, which I'm pretty excited about because if it was advanced locals, then to be honest with you, it would have been kind of like mid because it would have been without Burst Protocol and with the old ban list. because the new ban list is just in effect after this upcoming weekend. So it would have kind of like been whatever, you know, if it was advanced constructed. So I'm happy it's Genesys locals today. The only thing that I don't know yet is what I'm gonna play, because there's two decks that I could realistically play. The first one is Dragon Rulers. Oh, kind of like that way. All right. The first one is Dragon Rulers, which has been my favorite deck I've played in Genesys so far, period. And the reason why I kind of thought about bringing it back is because, of course, they've added points to Droll and Lockbird recently, and that card was a huge problem for Dragon Rulers. Other than Droll, it was actually a pretty solid deck. I really liked it. It does a lot of drawing. You know, my favorite version of the deck, the one that I've been playing, has not been the best. You know, I haven't been playing like all the tuner stuff, the crazy combos. You can do a lot of cool stuff with Dragon Rulers. But my favorite one was the one where you draw a bunch of cards. You know, I've been playing like Super Rejuvenation, Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, all of the armed dragons that I can discard for the babies, and then they search and draw. Like that deck's been so fun for me. It's a classic. It is a classic. Josh is addicted to drawing cards thing and sacrifices ceiling for it. It was a very classic Josh approach to a deck, but I've been enjoying it, and I do think that's something that is something I value Genesys for, you know, because other decks generally don't make the craziest endboards in Genesys, if we forget for a second that they allowed Rongo to be 30 points for a while. But like in general, in Genesys format, like the stuff like this, I view it as like the kind of format where you can just basically do what you want, to an extent, of course, but more stuff is viable because the power level is lower than advanced constructed. So Dragon Ruler is a deck that with the points increase on Droll and Lockbird, I wanted to revisit it and play it. And so this morning, when I was looking through my cards to find my Dragon Ruler cards, I came across this pile of cards, which is my Cool Tune core, which I got on release of Phantom Revenge, and I haven't been able to play it a single time yet, simply due to not having the time for it. And then I thought about, like, maybe this is also a good idea because this deck is actually good in Genesys format. In advanced constructed format, of course, this deck is not very viable at the moment, at least if the recent results are anything to go by. It has not seen any success in advanced constructed format, but in Genesys format, apparently, it is actually a pretty strong deck. So I'm kind of like between these two. I'm not sure which one I'm going to play. I want to talk about the builds for both a little bit today and just talk about Genesys in general a little bit, because of course, we also got this update that we looked at on stream yesterday. That is, you know, I thought about this more after the stream because I was hanging out on YouTube and I saw some other people like reacting to this and talking about this. And I feel like yesterday when I reacted to it for the first time, I kind of looked at it from an advanced constructed player perspective a little bit too much, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a big fan of Genesys format, and from a Genesys format perspective, this is a pretty big announcement. To be honest, like, of course, for advanced constructed players, what this means is like, oh, Genesys is kind of like competing with advanced constructed formats, so you're going to have to decide between the two because there's going to be YCSs for both at the same time, and they get the same prizes. So advanced constructed players are a little worried that maybe like if they win an effect veiler, that might be worth a little bit less because the Genesys players also get an effect veiler. However, if you kind of like flip this and look at it from the other perspective, it's like, yeah, this is a lot of support for Genesys format. You know, tournaments at YCS level, regionals, new prizes, same prizes as YCS. It's a lot of attention to Genesys format as a whole, which I think as someone who likes Genesys, this is pretty exciting news in hindsight. You know, of course, those things like having to decide between two formats and like there being more effect veilers, I think that's something that's a valid concern, but all things considered, if you're a fan of Genesys format, these are pretty hype news, right? And people have been asking for this for a long time, of like another format for Yu-Gi-Oh! That is officially supported and is getting attention and everything, and Genesys just is that, and so I think that's pretty cool. And at least from my experience personally, for the idea behind Genesys, like I've heard people say like Genesys is not different enough from Advanced Constructed, which might be true for like the short period of time where Rongo FTKs were running wild, but I think right now and also in general, that's not been my experience. Right? I got Rongo locked in one of the rounds at YCS Bologna Genesys. But all things considered, like all of the times I've spent playing Genesys format, the power level is so much lower than Advanced Constructed. Come on, like it's a different environment. It is not modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Light, in my opinion. It is very, very different in terms of what kind of cards are legal and everything. So okay, that's how I feel at least at the moment, and we're gonna see how that goes because I'm bringing my my GoPro to locals today. We're gonna film the rounds with Genesys, and we're gonna take a look at it on stream tomorrow, and we're gonna see how it goes, and also we're gonna find out if after the last points update, where they did hit Onomath a lot, which I was really happy about, we're gonna see what the environment looks like. But yeah. I mean, a very simple example is that I'm finding a lot of success with Medolce of all things. Look, here's the thing, right? I've gone, since they've introduced Genesys, okay? I've won locals with, I've won Genesys locals with Radiant Typhoon, which, to be fair, was a really strong deck at the time in Genesys format, but was not viable at all in Advanced Constructed, okay? Like, it was a meta deck in Genesys, but not in Advanced Constructed. It will be in Advanced Constructed with the new support, but not at the time. I've won locals with Necros, which is unplayable in Advanced Constructed format, completely unplayable. I've won a what's it called? I've won a side event at YCS Lille with Dragon Rulers, which is also completely and utterly unplayable in Advanced Constructed format. Cool Tune is regarded as one of, if not the best decks in Genesys right now, when it's also completely and utterly unplayable in Advanced Constructed format. We're not talking rogue decks, okay? We're not talking rogue decks that are viable in Genesys. We're talking decks that you literally go 0-4 at Advanced Constructed locals with basically every time. Like, these decks are not playable, okay? And in Genesys, they actually win tournaments, which I think that showcases really well that the power level gap is quite large. And I think it's not fair to say that Genesys is just basically watered down modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it is an entirely different format. As someone who's played Advanced Constructed very actively for years, and who I've also been very active in Genesys format, they are completely different things. If it wasn't for the time rules, would Paleo be okay in Genesys? Absolutely. If it wasn't for the time, I could probably cook up a really nasty Paleo deck if it wasn't for the time rules, in Genesys format. But like, you can definitely grind with these decks. You can set 5 going second into most of these decks. Like, it would work. I would get double losses at current time rules all the time, but it could work. So yeah. I'm still excited about Genesys. I'm still optimistic about Genesys format as a whole. These news are exciting for Genesys format. I just wanted to put that out there because I feel like when I looked at it yesterday, I was putting a little bit too much emphasis on like, okay, Genesys is competing with Advanced Constructed format, which might be a positive for some people, but also a negative. But all things considered, I am happy that we're getting more attention, more prizing towards Genesys format. And I think if this is what keeps happening, then this format might have a pretty cool future. All right. That being said, now we are taking a look at Dragon Ruler and Cool Tune, which are the 2 decks I'm considering for today's locals. I'm gonna be honest with you. Once I've taken a look into Cool Tune, if this deck seems cool, then I keep saying cool. Cool is a word I use a lot, but it feels weird whenever I'm using it in whenever we're talking about Cool Tune. I would like to play this deck today, if I can make it work, if I can figure out how it works, and if we can build it, if I have all the cards, which I should have all the cards I need. to play Cool Tune. I would love to play Dragon Rulers, but I think it makes more sense if I try Cool Tune. One reason, well, I'm not gonna lie, I'll show you one of the reasons why I wanted to play Dragon Rulers today, which is this. I got this recently alongside the sleeves from YCS Japan. Which this is sponsored. These are from Young Cards. You can get these as well if you want to, but that's besides the point. I'm not being paid for this specific segment or anything like that. I was genuinely excited to show off my Dragon Ruler mat and sleeves with the Dragon Ruler deck in Genesys format. But then I found the Cool Tune cards in my piles of cards when I was looking for the Dragon Rulers, and I was like, you know what? I would really like to play this. But I think the Cool Tune makes more sense for now. Because I've even already made a YouTube video on Dragon Rulers in Genesys format, because I've already played it at a YCS Lil Public event. So eventually we're gonna bring the Dragon Ruler deck back. And it might be today if I'm not liking how the Cool Tune deck looks, but I kind of want to try Cool Tune. But yeah, this playmat from YCS Japan, I'm not sure if they still have any in stock, because it was actually quite cheap for what it is. I think it's like about 30 something bucks, which is kind of crazy for considering it's a YCS Japan exclusive. And you can get 10% if you use Josh10 at Young Cards. So feel free to check it out. Also, the sleeves are insane as well. I really want to play these at some point. But yeah. If I play Dragon Rulers, it'd be on that playmat. But yeah. Maybe play Ruler now and wait with Cool Tune until they get their Omni and Burst protocol. Oh, you mean Zalen? You know what? That's the thing, right? We're gonna take a look at both. We're gonna take a look at both decks today. In theory, and then I'll just decide later. All right. So for Dragon Rulers, this is the one we're gonna start with because I think it's gonna be a little bit quicker. There is two ways to play Dragon Rulers in Genesys format. One of them is the better way, and the other one is my favorite way. And I'm going to go with my favorite way probably, but we're going to talk about the other way a little bit as well. So, fundamentally, I do believe we have to go with the Dragon Ruler ratios that I've been playing all the time. So, if you didn't know, because it's also not very intuitive and doesn't make that much sense, but all of the Dragon Rulers have 7 points in Genesys format, the big ones. So that goes for Blaster, Tempest, Tidal, and Redox. So if you were to play all 12, which this is not all 12, where's the others? There's the Tidal, and there is a Redox somewhere in here. Which I guess the 7 points is kind of intuitive, right? Because they're level 7s. Get it? Get it? If you play all... You can't play all 12 Dragon Rulers together. Because that would be, quick math, 84 points, right? 12 times 7 is 84. So they do fit all in one deck. You can play all 12 Dragon Rulers for 84 points. The Baby Rulers are 0, so you can play as many Baby Rulers as you want. And the new Dragon Rulers, Spectral, Nebulous, as well as the Exceed monsters are all 0 points. So Chasma, Disaster, and Eclipse, they're all 0. So you can play as many babies and as many Exceeds as you want. However, the main deck big Dragon Rulers are all 7 points. Which means if you want to play all of them, you have very little room for... any sort of like pointed non-engine. As a result, what I have been doing in previous tournaments is I've played 3 copies of the really important ones, which are Blaster and Tempest, and I've cut on 1 Tidal and 1 Redox. I've played 10 big Dragon Rulers. That's been my ratio for whenever I've played this deck, and I felt like that was fine. Because that is a flat 70 points for the Dragon Rulers, because that lets you play 1 card in particular that I really, really like in this deck, which is Zeus. Because Zeus is 20 points. If you play all 12 Dragon Rulers, you cannot play Zeus. Where's my Zeus? I have a Zeus somewhere. I looked for it this morning, so I have it here. Oh yeah, there's Zeus. what's the end board for Dragon Rulers? Okay, that's where the version of the deck comes in, because Dragon Rulers are actually quite synergistic with a lot of different things that you can play in it. The most common version from what I've seen online is the Rose Dragons, right? People are playing the Rose Dragons because they are level 3 dragon tuners, and you can actually search Red Rose Dragon in this deck, which is relatively easy, via Chasma. So the way Chasma works, in case you're not familiar with the new Dragon Ruler support, because it's not been meta in the advanced constructed format at all, Chasma needs 2 level 7 dragons and has a quick effect where you can detach 1 material to send a Dragon Ruler from your deck to the graveyard as cost, one of the big level 7s, and apply its effect that it has when it's discarded. So what you can do is you can send Tempest for cost, and then apply its discard effect, which is add a dragon monster from your deck to your hand. So you can search any dragon with Chasma, basically. So the idea is you summon Chasma on turn 1. Usually you send Redox, Tidal, or Tempest to get their discard effects, which is Reborn, Foolish, or Search. And then you leave the Chasma on the field, and on the opponent's turn, you send Blaster for a pop, which is what I've been doing. What you can also do a whole bunch of cringe stuff with this card, and which is what they've been doing. If the deck, I think the deck topped like 1 regional in advanced constructed format where people did like summon Chasma, use the effect on your turn to send Tidal effect to send Christia, and then on the opponent's turn, Chasma send Redox to reborn the Christia. We're not gonna do any of that in Genesys format, and that's also because Christia is, I'm pretty sure it's 100 points in Genesys, so you couldn't even do that, which is good. But yeah. One alternative thing that you can do if you want to turn the deck more combo heavy in Genesys format is you can play the Rose Dragons, and then you can make like level 10 synchros with them. Like you can play Ruddy Rose Dragon, you can play Cheng Ying, which has great synergy with this deck because the Dragon Rulers all banish, right? So when you're going second into a board, summon Cheng Ying, bring back a Dragon Ruler, banish from field and grave, really strong. You can play Gen X Arms 0, and you can also play Bestial Dispatter. I think Bestial Dispatter has a couple of points. I think it's like 10. But we could fit that. If we wanted to, we could fit that. One example is you could play 10 Dragon Rulers for 70 points. You could play the Dispatter for 10 points, and you could play a Zeus for 20, and that would be a clean 100 right here. These 12 cards would be exactly 100 if I'm not mistaken, because I'm pretty sure Dispatter is 10 points. But yeah. So the Zeus, I feel like, is quite essential for this deck for going second, because you can really easily pump out multiple Exceed monsters and then force the board with Zeus, as well as it has some crazy synergy with Disaster, because Disaster is an Exceed monster that basically has 6 materials. So yeah. So the Synchro combo version of the deck is an option. So that's why I searched for the cards this morning. I have them here. We can think about it. However, I want to present my favorite version of the deck first, which is likely the one I want to play. So what I've been liking is a sub-engine of the... Where are they? The Armed Dragons. All right, so Armed Dragons... I don't even know if you've seen these cards before, if you haven't played specifically Dragon Ruler in Genesys format. I'm not sure if these were actually designed to go into Dragon Ruler decks, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they have many other synergies in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole. Besides Pile Armed Dragon, all of the Armed Dragons have an effect when they are discarded, or rather, if they are sent to the graveyard to activate a dragon monster's effect, which is basically all of the baby dragons, because all of the baby rulers discard a dragon to summon the rulers from the deck. You just discard the Armed Dragons and get card advantage. So level 3, if it gets sent to grave to activate a dragon, you draw a card. Level 5, if it gets sent to grave, you add a level 5 or higher Wind Dragon. And Armed Dragon Thunder level 7 searches for an Armed Dragon card. So basically, if you have a lot of effects to activate, you want to chain these Armed Dragons together to never pay for your Dragon Ruler effects, basically. Like let's say you draw Burner and Steam and one let's say Armed Dragon Thunder level 7, these three together, right? You go activate stream, discard Armed Dragon Thunder level 7, summon title from the deck. Armed Dragon Thunder level 7 can then search level 3 or level 5. Let's say you search level 3, and then you activate burner, discard the 3, summon the blaster from the deck, and then level 3 draws you a card. Right? Really, really simple. They just facilitate activating the baby dragons as often as you want, basically. So I've been trying, in order to make the deck consistent, I've been trying to play as many baby rulers as I can fit, as well as many armed dragons as I can fit. Now, none of these are tuners. So it's a little bit like you're kind of limited to exceed monsters, but I've been enjoying it that way because I feel like the deck is strong enough with just the exceed plays. The exceed plays are actually quite powerful. We can talk about them in a second. But dude, the more I'm talking about this deck, the more I want to play it. Like the cool tune deck really has to deliver for me to not play this deck today, dude. Do you have space for non-engine? This looks like 30-something engine so far. We don't play non-engine in this deck, basically. We have maybe like one playset of non-engine, which is the beauty of Genesys format is that this kind of works. This would never work in Advanced Constructed. Because basically what we're trying to do is we power through all our Dragon Rulers. We have basically infinite extenders in the deck because all the baby rulers are extenders. The graveyard is a second resource. We just summon Dragon Rulers. We make exceeds. If our opponent deals with the exceeds, we bring the Dragon Rulers back from the graveyard. We try again. We search for follow-up because the Dragon Rulers, when they're banished, also search. Of course, you can only use one of these effects per turn, but basically you're just trying to power through whatever they're throwing at you, and just like make a board, draw some cards, and outgrind is the idea. So the main win cons of this deck are Chasma, Eclipse, and Disaster. They work in tandem. They're really important to look at together. The first one you're going to make in 99% of your games is Chasma, Dragon Ruler of Auroras, which is the new light big Dragon Ruler. I've already explained what it does. Quick effect, send a Dragon Ruler from deck to grave to apply its discard effect. And also, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special a level 7 Dragon Ruler from grave or banishment. So basically, summon it on the first turn, get an advantage right away. You can keep it around for disruption on the opponent's turn, or you can overlay it into Disaster, which we'll get to in a second. Then there's Eclipse, which is the Dark Dragon Ruler. It is usually not the first one you want to summon, but it is still pretty good. We can close in on these. It is still pretty good. It says, if this card exceeds summon, target a level 4 or lower Dragon Ruler in your grave, and then special summon the level 7 or rank 7 Dragon Ruler that's mentioned on it from your deck or banishment, and then shuffle the targeted monster into the deck. So what you're trying to do with this basically is, if you have Burner in the graveyard, for example, or in the banished pile, you summon Eclipse, you target the Burner, because Burner mentions Blaster, you summon Blaster from the deck, and this one goes back into the deck. That way you have some recycling for the baby dragons. Preferably, you want to try to recycle them from banished, not from the graveyard, because in the graveyard, they are a resource to banish for your other Dragon Rulers. In an ideal case, you put the banished ones back into the deck so you can search them again. So essentially, all things considered, this thing only takes you 1 material because you summon it with 2 level 7s and it gives you 1 level 7 back. And then it also negates spell traps, which is pretty neat. And once you've assembled these two, what you can do is you can overlay them for Disaster, Dragon Ruler of all Apocalypses, which technically is generic. It needs rank monsters. This thing, you cannot make it with 2 level 7s. This thing needs 2 rank 7s. But it does not specify that it needs these 2 in particular, but it only really makes sense if you have these 2. So this thing is actually really broken. It's got 0 attack, 0 defense, but we'll get to that. If this card is Exceed summoned, you can target up to 4 level 7 Dragon Rulers in grave or banishment, attach them to this card, then banish all monsters from your opponent's field and graveyard with the same attribute as the materials that this card has. What this means is, because what you're making this with is light and dark, and you have 4 other Dragon Rulers in rotation, you attach all 4 now you have all attributes in Yu-Gi-Oh attached to Disaster. All 6 attributes besides Divine Beast. Someone is going to make that joke, I know. You have all attributes as material on this card, so you're banishing everything your opponent has. From field and grave. So everything is gone. You banish everything if you summon Disaster this way. And also, you can technically summon it with less material. Like, let's say you're missing Redox from the rotation, you can still summon it. You can still attach the other ones, and then you can still banish everything that isn't Earth. But it makes even more sense when you have all attributes in rotation, because this card gains 4600 attack and defense, while it has all attributes attached, and also is unaffected by other card effects. So it's a 4600 towers, which is a win condition on its own. Now, it's not the same power level as like a Liger Dancer, because once it's summoned and unaffected, it doesn't have any more effects. Like, it can't quick effect Raigeki or negate anything or whatever. And people actually do play kaijus in Genesys format. So I think Disaster alone is not like, it's not a super reliable win condition, but if you can play it in a pretty grindy deck that also has other plays to it, then I think it can be pretty legit, right? To have this as one of your boss monsters, because I think the most powerful part about this card is the on-summon effect, right? Like, summon it and then banish all your opponent's field and graveyard is really, really busted, in my opinion. Also, very, very often, what I do is I summon an unaffected Disaster with as many materials as I can, or, well, if it's unaffected and it has to have all materials, then I swing, and then I Zeus on top of it, which is a 7 material Zeus, which is pretty good in Genesys format, believe it or not. So that's why I really want to play. That's why I really want to play the Zeus in this deck, if I can. But of course, Zeus is going to be an additional 20 points. So you really have to like see if you can make the points work on this. But yeah. My favorite card in this deck is Here There Be Dragons. This is a card that I think most people don't play in this deck. But I've been finding this is the reason why I've been wanting to play this deck, because this is the most fun interaction that this deck has, in my opinion. This card is a quick play spell that says special summon a dragon ruler from your hand, graveyard, or banishment, and then immediately after this resolves, you can exceed summon a dragon ruler exceed monster using only dragon rulers you control. The reason why this is so cool is because you can pass your turn with Chasma and Eclipse on the field, which means you get the effect of Chasma on your opponent's turn to send Blaster and pop a card, and you get the effect of Eclipse of negating a spell trap. And once you've done that, then you activate Here There Be Dragons to reborn a dragon ruler, doesn't matter which one, and then you overlay those two into Disaster on your opponent's turn, which means not only have you got the value from Chasma, you got the value from Eclipse, but you summon the towers on your opponent's turn, so in theory you should be pretty safe to not lose the game or to not die, so you can outgrind your opponent, and you get the on-summon effect of Disaster. You banish your opponent's board as an interruption on your opponent's turn, not just when you hard summon it on your turn, but also on your opponent's turn. So that's why I love this card so much. I think this card is awesome. It has a great graveyard effect as well to recover banished dragon rulers. It says during your main phase, banish this card from your grave, target any number of banished dragon rulers with different attributes, and return them to the graveyard. You can only activate one of these effects per turn, not both, but it's great. It's great follow-up as well. So essentially the plan is set up these two on the first turn, have this card face down, and then outgrind from there. Which I think is awesome and fun and exactly the way how I want to play this deck. Now, you guys are asking a very good question, which is this card searchable? The answer, no. Unfortunately not. They did not give Dragon Rulers a way to search this card, which I think is very sad. You cannot search this card. The only thing that we have, and this is why this version of the deck is what I've been preferring, right? Is we have to power through our deck, we have to deck thin, and we have to draw cards. That's all we've got. So we cannot set this up every single time, but there's a couple of tools that we have, thankfully, that can make it happen. So And this is the reason for this entire version. I'm playing Sacred Sword of 7 stars, which banishes a level 7 monster and then draws you 2 cards. But that's once per turn. If you draw multiple copies, you can't use them. This is why I've built this deck around this card. All right, Super Rejuvenation. And it'll make sense in a second, trust me. So this card, for anyone who's played in Dragon Ruler format in 2013, you're going to remember this card. It was a menace back then. This card says, during the end, it's a quick play spell. During the end phase, you draw cards for every dragon that has been tributed or discarded from your hand during the entire turn. So basically, if you discard Stream and another dragon to summon title from the deck, if you activate Super Reju, it draws 2 cards. However, on average in this deck, if you don't brick, this card is consistently going to draw you 6 or even 8 cards. So the new baby dragon, right, Spectral, the new baby Spectral, discards itself and another dragon to search 2 dragon rulers from your deck. So this card alone, you discard this and another dragon, search 2 baby rulers. If you can discard these other 2 baby rulers, that's already going to be 6 cards that you draw in the end phase. Then you can do other things, like you honestly, with the armed dragons in rotation, you have infinite discard fodder. You can search more baby dragons with Chasma. You can even tribute summon the dragon rulers sometimes because the deck doesn't really have a normal summon. So you can tribute summon dragon rulers to draw more cards. And if you draw into extra copies of Super Rejuvenation in your end phase, you can also activate them because it's a quick play spell. So you can draw more cards with those as well. And it's the same amount. You don't have to activate this card and then count after. It counts retroactively as well. Like if you draw this at the end of your turn, you can activate another copy to draw infinite cards. Which was really broken in 2013, which is why it got banned. However, in TCG right now, this card is at 3 again. And no one cares because it's the end phase. You're drawing cards in the end phase if you have already full comboed. Who cares? Well, I do. And now you're going to ask the next question. How does that help with setting up Here There Be Dragons? Because it's a quick play spell and we're in the end phase. How can I set it as an interruption on the opponent's turn? And that was a huge problem for me that I talked about in one of my videos after I presented this deck for the first time. I was like, it's unfortunate we can't search this card. And if I draw it in the end phase, I can't set it. Someone suggested a card in that video. That's a while ago at this point, and I think the card came out right around that time. It was in Doom of Dimensions. It's called Kerzeb's the Gowled Glutton. This card is basically, it's very funny. That's why I'm mentioning this again, because the timeline for this was so perfect. Okay. I played this deck for the first time at YCS Lille public events for Genesys format. Okay. And around the time of YCS Lille, Doom of Dimension came out, right? That was the first YCS after, like, we got Marshmallow and stuff in the TCG. That was Doom of Dimension release YCS, basically. It happened like 2 days after the set came out. And then I presented this deck, and I presented the problem of not being able to set Here They Be Dragons if I draw it with Super Reju. And someone said, like, oh, in this set that came out 2 days ago, there's a card called Kerzeb's the Gowled Glutton, which is a rank 7 Dragon Rulers. This card has 700 attack, gains 700 attack for each material attached to it. Once per chain, when a normal or quick play spell card is activated, quick effect, attach that card on the field to this card. And if you do, this card is unaffected by that card. During the end phase, you can set one spell card that is attached to this card. So what you do, basically, is if you full combo with this deck and you have a Super Rejuve, this is not very unrealistic. You summon Chasma on your first turn, you summon Eclipse on your first turn, you summon Kerzeb's on your first turn. You go to the end phase. You resolve your Super Rejuvenation, you draw infinite cards. You draw Here There Be Dragons. You activate Here There Be Dragons, you chain Kerzeb's to it, Kerzeb's attaches Here There Be Dragons. And then, because you're still in the end phase, you can use Kerzeb's to set this. And then you have it on your opponent's turn. So essentially, that is the full combo of this deck. If I can achieve this, then I'm happy. All right. If I can summon 3 rank 7s on the first turn and resolve a Super Rejuvenation, then I'm cooking, right? And it's not that unrealistic for this deck. So yeah, That's essentially the idea behind this. I do think that is a high enough ceiling for me to play this deck without having to play like tuners and make it more combo heavy and less consistent and stuff like that. I think this is sufficient, at least in theory. And basically what this means is you just focus. These are the important cards in the extra deck, basically, right? You've got any amount of Chasmas, any amount of Eclipses, any amount of Disasters. I'm gonna be honest with you, I would, before Cool Tune was a thing, right? Before Cool Tune was a thing, I used to play 2/2/2 of the Dragon Rulers, but now that they've got extra deck banishes in the format, I think I would play 3/3/3, because I'm gonna be honest with you, the other Exceed monsters that you can play in this deck, they just don't come up very often because these are so good. So I would say these 11 are good, and then you just play some rank 7 utility. You can play Dracosac, you can play Big Eye, you can play Volo for Nijays, the Darkest Dragon Doom Rider, you can play Blaze, Supreme Ruler of all dragons. You can play the Dark Armed Dragon, actually. I should have that one too. Hold up. Dude, I love the fact that I sorted my stuff alphabetically now. If I ever forget a card for stream, I find it so quickly. You can play this guy. You have 10 points for Typhon. That's what I've been doing. Yes, when I played this deck at YCS Lil, I played Zeus, Typhon for 30 points and 70 points for Dragon. You can do that. But Typhon is good in this deck. Yeah, you can play Typhon. Definitely. Number 76 is also decent. Is number 76 Titanic Moth? No, right? What's number 76? Because Titanic Moth is number 28, isn't it? Oh, Harmonizer, right? The Grady L thingy. I don't know if you need that, but yeah, these are all options. Typhon is an option. Yeah, but this is just some rank 7 utility. They don't come up very often, but sometimes, you know, stealing your opponent's monster with Big Eye or having removal from Dracosac, it can be nice. It can be nice. So yeah. So let me do a quick count on how many cards we have in the main deck. So we're gonna be playing. Let me sort all these Dragon Rules. We're going to be playing 3 Blasters. We're going to be playing 3 Tempest. The reason these 2 are the most important, in my opinion, is because Blaster, you always want one in the deck so that your Chasma can pop. Also, Blaster is the biggest one. I think that's why Blaster is important to have at 3, because it's big and you need it in the deck so that your Chasma can pop a card on the field. Tempest is the most important one. I don't know if I said that. Did I say Blaster was the most important one? Blaster is important. Tempest is the most important one. Because when you banish Tempest, you can search the Armed Dragons. That is, in my opinion, I don't know how many of these we're going to fit, but the Armed Dragons are really important to have so that you can facilitate all your discards. So I think Tempest is very, very important for its search effect. The least important ones are Tidal and Redox because their discard effects are not that relevant. This one is Foolish. This one is Reborn, which are both good. They're not irrelevant, but they're the least relevant. So that's why I've been doing 2 and 2 on these. That was my ratio with the big Dragon Rulers. And so far, if we decide to not play Typhon, we could play another copy of one of these, or we could spend 10 points on other non-engine. That's something we could do. And then for the babies, obviously, you're going to play 3 copies of Spectral, the new one, the new light one. This is by far the best baby ruler because it says discard this and another dragon and search 2 Dragon Rulers. This is insane. And then the worst one is probably Nebulous because Nebulous is discard, and a Dark or Dragon, and then target 2 banished Dragon Rulers and special summon them. This is technically a really good ability because it gives you follow-up and it summons back Dragon Rulers that are already banished, which is neat for recursion. However, it's not a starter, and you can usually search it. So I think one Nebulous is completely sufficient. And then for the babies, I've just been running 2-2-2-2, which is the standard from back in the day. I'm not sure, honestly, if you could play more, but the space is going to be really tight. So this is like, I would say, it feels like the perfect amount of dragon rulers, but it's also, I think, the minimum. Like, I think there's a world where you play more baby rulers and more big rulers if you can fit them. If that's what you want to prioritize, is as much gas and consistency as possible. I think specifically a third lightning could be good because you want to get to Tempest as fast as you can. So I think a third lightning could be a consideration as well. So this is 22 cards, okay? This is 22 cards, and then we're playing 3 Here They Be Dragons, 3 Super Rejuves, and 3 Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, which puts us to a total of 31 already. So you can already see where the problem is. Hold up, let me go over here, because I think there is some glare. If we play the 9 armed dragons here, the full package, we're already at 40 cards with 0 non-engine, which I actually don't really have an issue with that. I wouldn't even mind. Also, there's pile armed dragon, which you can play as a one of here. But this would already be 41 cards. This is kind of like what I mean. The way I want to play this deck, the way I interpret the playstyle of this deck, is kind of like, it's very limited in terms of non-engine. But to be honest, this deck doesn't want to draw that much non-engine. Like, you don't want to have 2 or 3 hand traps in hand, because you just want to have all stuff that you can discard for your dragon rulers. So I really like the way this deck looks, honestly. I've not been, as you can see from the sleeves here, I've been playing 2, 2, and 2 on the armed dragons. That's why these are in other sleeves. So I've been doing, this was my armed dragon ratio, 7 of them. But I would really like to play more, even if I can. Pile armed dragon is a card that you can search with these 2 and with Tempest. This unfortunately does not have an effect when it's discarded. Instead, it's another one that can discard. This card says you can send one other wind dragon monster or one other level 7 or higher dragon monster from your hand to the grave to special summon this card. And then it can send an armed dragon monster from hand or deck to the graveyard and then target a face-up monster you control. That targeted monster gains attack, blah, blah, blah. So it's a level 7 that can summon itself by discarding a big dragon ruler from your hand or an armed dragon. So it can trigger the armed dragons, and discarding the big dragons is kind of free. So it's a free level 7 body. And then it can also send an armed dragon from your deck to your grave, which triggers one of their effects. So I've been liking this as a one-of, because you can search it with so many cards. And sometimes you just need one extra level 7 body. And so Pile Armed Dragon has been really good as a one-of. Yeah. One thing I would like to play, maybe, I don't know. Because what we could do is we could just max out on armed dragons, right? We could just max out on armed dragons, and then we would have a 40 card deck, and that could work. Which is basically all gas, no brakes, literally 0 non-engine. One thing I'm a little tempted to do, and I think this is more like my advanced constructed brain, right? My advanced constructed brain really wants to put non-engine in here that I can draw with Super Rejuve in my end phase, right? Something like a Nibiru that I can draw when I'm resolving Super Rejuvenation for 8 cards. Even if it's just a one-of, right? It's not that unlikely that I'll find it. It's not that unlikely that I find a Nibiru if I play 1 copy, right? Because at the moment, remember, we are at 90 points. We have 10 points to spend, which would fit 1 Nibiru. 1. But when I'm resolving Super Rejuvenation, I can just draw that. You know, if I resolve a Super Rejuve for 6 or 8 cards, and then I draw another Super Rejuve, like the chance I'm finding that Nibiru is actually not bad, right? Any good free quick play you could use twice on your turn and opponent's turn? You mean like if I already have Here There Be Dragons and I summon the Kerzebs, and then I think if I already have Curzeps, I can just not. If I already have Here There Be Dragons, I can just not summon Curzeps and instead summon like, I don't know if there's another interruption here even, but I think this is the interruption, right? This is a quick effect if it has a dragon as material. Yeah, this is a rank 7 that detaches 2 material and pops a face-up card on the field. And it's a quick effect if it has a dragon. So if I already have this quick play spell, I don't have to make Curzeps. I just make this. Right? So yeah, that's my little presentation on Dragon Rulers. It's a really fun deck. It's a really fun deck. I like it so much in Genesys, and this is one of the reasons why I like Genesys is just because from my experience, this deck works in Genesys, but it has no chance in Advanced Constructed. It's got no chance in Advanced Constructed because you're just all engine just doesn't work in Genesys in Advanced Constructed format. In Genesys it can, I think. Yeah. It would maybe it would be a different story if there was actually decks in the format that can't out Disaster, but like it's not Liger Dancer. It doesn't like Regeki the board. So as soon as your opponent plays a deck that can summon a monster that's bigger than Disaster, they win. They win on the spot. So yeah. So yeah, any Axis Code or any Gorgon of Zilophonia, any whatever, it just beats the Disaster. So you don't even have that win con, right? Well, it's a cool deck. So for the side deck, I'm not sure. Like I've been playing Twin Twisters in this deck because all the dragons are kind of like free discards. You could play Ultimate Slayer to facilitate you have the extra deck space to play Ultimate Slayer is what I'm trying to say. Lava Golem is good in this deck because you don't need your normal summon. Oh, I'm on the wrong side for this. Lava Golem is an option. Back row removal with Cosmic or MST. You can play more of it. I think Kaijus are good. Probably play the level 7. I just have Gamma Seal here. You can play DD Crow, Skullmeister. Like this is just standard stuff for Genesys format. One card I think this deck can play that not everyone can play is Photon Cerberus. This card is kind of interesting in Genesys format as well if your deck doesn't need the normal summon. This is kind of like Denko Sekka light, because Denko Sekka costs points in Genesys format and Photon Cerberus doesn't. Photon Cerberus says, during the turn this card was normal summoned, neither player can activate trap cards while this card is face up on the field. This does not activate. This is immediately applied once you summon it. So if your opponent doesn't have a counter trap to negate it, it is basically Denko Sekka or like in a little bit weaker. But yeah. Where is Ankh finding these cards? Okay, so this card, I am aware of this card because it was summoned against me when I played Paleo back in the day. That's like 10 years ago at this point. Well, yeah. So that's Dragon Rulers. That is Dragon Rulers. And honestly, depending on how the cool tune yapping goes, I might play this deck, to be honest with you, because this deck is so fun, man. I love this deck. It is my favorite deck in Genesys format. The one that the one that I've had the most fun with playing Genesys format so far was this deck by far. Necros didn't even come close. Like I liked Necros as well, but like this deck was so much more fun. But yeah. Okay. So cool tune. We can talk about cool tune, but it's not something that I can like hold a presentation over like I just did about Dragon Rulers, because I simply I'm not that deep into the cool tune sauce. So the cool tune segment is more like a learning together kind of thing, because I'm aware about the concept of this deck. But I'm like, we have to talk through some lines and combos now and stuff like that. Like I can't just, I haven't played this deck before, which also makes it a fun challenge, I think. But yeah, let's look into it. So I do know that everything in this deck is tuners. Yeah, hold up. get a little closer. All right, so I know that we've got 4 main deck monsters at this point in time. So not the most amount of consistency for cool tunes, unfortunately. But everything in this deck is a tuner, and everything in this deck locks you into tuners, which also includes the synchro monsters. The synchros are also tuners, right? So what we've got is, I think 3 of these are starters. I think everyone besides Clip is technically a 1-card starter, right? We've got Cool Tune Reco, Cool Tune Mix, and Cool Tune Kewl. Are all starters, and we have more ways to search those, which we can talk about in a second. But okay, so what these do is, hold up, and this is for you guys, but also for myself to learn this a little bit. So Cool Tune Reco, focus. If this card on the field would be used as synchro material, 1 tuner in your hand can be used as one of the other materials. This is something that all of them do. So you can synchro with the tuners in your hand. So it also has some hand trap synergies. So already, this is going to be a different concept from Dragon Rulers, because the concept of Cool Tune is basically they have very few points. And you can play a bunch of the level 3 hand traps to synchro with them in your hand if you don't need them. So if this card, you can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special, you can add a Cool Tune monster from deck or grave to your hand, except a level 3. If this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can target a spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. Okay, so the 3 Cool Tune starters all have very similar, very similar structure to their effects, right? They all have the effect that you can use a tuner in your hand. They all have an on-summon effect, and they all have an effect when they are used as material and sent to the graveyard, right? So for Reco, it's on-summon add, not level 3. And on Synchro Summon, it targets a spell trap and pops it. And then for Cool Tune Q, which is the other level 3, same thing. If it's used as synchro, you can use a tuner in your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is normal summoned, you can special a tuner from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Any tuner. Now, this one is only on normal summon. So this one is, you're going to try to have this as your normal summon all the time. And of course, the reason why Reco is still a starter, even though it just searches, is because whatever you search, you can use as synchro material from your hand, right? But yeah, Q is on normal summon. It's just a tour guide for any tuner. And this one does lock you into tuners for the rest of the turn. And then if this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, excavate 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, banish one of them, banish the other on the top or bottom of the deck. So this is the first of a couple of these where Cool Tune's interruptions are very unique, but also different. I guess those are just kind of the same word, but like unique, but also weird is the right word, because they have some removal. It's kind of like a split between. It's a split between removal and resource grinding, right? Because Q, for example, is kind of like, look at the top 2 and try to snipe a good resource and banish it, right? Like, for example, if you play against Draco Tail, you could get lucky and hit one of the Draco Tail traps. And when you banish one of the Draco Tail traps, of course, that makes their grind game weaker. If you hit a card that you know is a one-of, you can banish that and make their grind game weaker. And that's like kind of like supposed to be one of the win conditions of Cool Tune, because quite frankly, they don't have enough removal to win just from removal, but they also don't have enough resource disruption to win just off of resource disruption. I think that's one of the core problems that Cool Tune kind of like has, or maybe had before the support, is that like they're trying to do both things, but they're not particularly strong at either, right? They don't have crazy amounts of removal, and they don't have crazy amounts of resource disruption. So they're kind of like just like mid at both. But okay. We've got Cool Tune Mix. Cool Tune Mix is a level 2 warrior. If this card on the field would be used, you can use a tuner in your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special, you can add a Cool Tune monster from your deck or grave to your hand, except a level 2. If this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it. So this one, Reco and Mix both on Summon Search, but this one does not search level 3. This one does not search level 2. So they basically search not their own level, essentially. Yeah. And this one pops monsters, this one pops spells. And then we've got Cool Tune Clip, which is in some ways the coolest, and in some ways also the thing that people hate most about this deck, which is not a starter, but it does say during your opponent's main phase, if it's in your hand, quick effect, special this card, and then you can synchro summon a tuner synchro monster, and if it's sent to the grave as synchro material, you can banish face up one random face down card from your opponent's extra deck. It is a random extra deck rip. It's banished face up, which in some cases matters and makes it easier to recover, but it's, once again, similar to Cool Tune Q, these two are kind of like aiming to like disrupt your opponent's resources, right? Like you're trying to randomly snipe good cards off the top of their deck, and you're trying to randomly snipe extra deck cards out of their extra deck to try and win the game that way. But once again, like this does read very powerful, but I think in practice, a lot of the times, you're just not sniping a super important card if it's random, right? Like it's not Kashtira Unicorn level on so many in so many different ways, because like you're not looking at their extra deck, you're not picking the card, you're not gaining any info on like, oh, they only play this as a one-off or whatever. You just snipe a random card out of their extra deck. It could matter, it could never matter. And it's also banished face up, so there's ways to get it back, right? But still, there is ways to do this over and over and over again. So if the game goes long enough, right, and that's the idea here, if the game goes long enough, eventually you're gonna hit important cards with Q, and you're gonna hit important cards with Clip. And so the longer the game goes, the more this deck is favored to win the resource game, because maybe one banish didn't matter, but then banish 2, 3, 4 might matter eventually. So that's the monster engine. One cool thing about this deck is that they have a lot of different types. So even though they don't have that many starters, there's ways to complement that, because they have a lot of different typings, and there's searchers for these cards. But yeah. Then there's Cool Tune Synchro, which is a really, really good card, a really good consistency card for this deck. Add a Cool Tune card from your deck to your hand, except Synchro, and then immediately after this resolves, you can Synchro summon a tuner monster. You cannot special for the rest of this turn, except tuners, and you can activate 2 of this per turn. This is super good because it's a quick play Rhoda that also dodges Imperm and Veiler and whatever else, right? You can, if you normal summon Q, activate effect, your opponent Veilers it, you chain Cool Tune Synchro, search 1, perform a Synchro summon, Synchro away the Q, and then still resolve it, which is really good. So this is everything for this deck, right? This is consistency, it dodges interaction, and it's also an interruption on the opponent's turn, because all of them have graveyard effects when they're synchroed with, and this is a quick play spell, so set up as many of these as possible for your opponent's turn, and you can trigger all of your effects on their turn as well. So this is basically the heart and soul of this deck, is to perform these synchro summons not only on your turn, but also on your opponent's turn. That's like the core of this whole thing, because of course, like I said earlier, these effects, like, if you resolve this once on your first turn, it probably doesn't matter. You have to resolve this multiple times in order for it to have an impact. And that's what this card is really, really good for. They have a field spell, which usually is just a one-of because it's not a starter. It does give you an additional normal summon in case you have a bunch of these on your hand. Because one problem I think that this deck can have, if you don't have Cool Tune Synchro to dodge Imperm or Veiler, if you normal summon one of these and it gets Impermed or Veilered, you also lose the ability to use a tuner in your hand as material, right? So like you kind of like, you summon this, it's negated, and you're kind of stuck with that, and you can't keep going. So that's why JJ Cool Tune is here to give you an additional normal summon. And you can also tribute a tuner to add to your hand or special summon a cool tune from your deck. So it can be an extender, but only if you already have a... You don't? Oh, that's not true? Oh, wait, that makes it so much better. Oh, that's good. See, that's a good thing that we talked about that, because I thought that would also get negated if you get impermed. That makes it so much easier to play through Imperm and Veiler. It's a condition on the card, like the Klee skills. Yeah, I mean it's hard to distinguish between what's a condition and what's just an effect. Like when you imperm a Promethean princess, you're not locked anymore, but then there's other cards that still lock you even if they get impermed. But okay, that's good to know. That's good talk. That makes it a lot easier to play through Imperm and Veiler. Good to know. All right, good talk. The field spell is cool, but just the fact that it doesn't play on its own, I think, is why most builds are only playing one copy, but you can technically play more of these. And then there's one more card for Cool Tune, where we have to go through the extra deck still, because I actually don't remember all their effects, but this card makes me sad. The reason this card makes me sad is because no one plays it, and I think this card is super fun. So I'm gonna try to see if I can fit this into the deck, because I think this card is awesome. But like, maybe some people play it, but the lists that I found, we can look at them in a second, because I haven't built the deck yet. We have to build it together. But I found some lists online, and they weren't playing this card. In the main deck, I think some people were siding it. So this is, surprise, surprise, the trap card that generates card advantage is Josh's favorite card of the archetype. This is my favorite card in this deck, and I would like to play it if possible. This card says, target one Cool Tune monster in your field or graveyard. Apply these effects in sequence. Also, you're locked into tuners. Apply that target's effect that activates when it's sent to the grave as synchro material, and then also return it to the hand. So this card is awesome because it gives you card advantage by adding back tuners from your graveyard, and then also duplicating their effects. So for example, if you have Rekko in the grave, this pops a spell trap. If you have Mix in the grave, this pops a monster. If you have Clip in your grave, it banishes from your opponent's extra deck. If you have Q in your grave, you can banish from your opponent's deck. The reason why I like this card so much is because it plays into this exact play style that I've talked about before, where you need to somehow reach critical mass with your Cool Tune graveyard effects for them to actually have any impact, right? So all of a sudden, instead of just banishing one card from their extra deck, you're banishing multiple because you're resolving Clip on your turn, Clip on your opponent's turn, playlist to add back Clip, this kind of thing. You reach critical mass on these types of effects, and you actually have enough removal, enough disruption to maybe walk away with the game and outgrind the opponent, because you also generate follow-up from this. The problem is that it's a trap card, obviously. And most of the time, if you have the luxury to search a Cool Tune spell trap, you're going to search more copies of Synchro, right? So I'm not sure if you're going to play this card. Maybe I'm going to try to play it as a one-off at least in my deck. I want to try it. If it's bad, it's bad. I don't care. I can cut it later, but I want to play it, so I will play it. But probably not three. Probably not 3 copies. I'm not delusional. I understand that Cool Tune Synchro does what this card does, basically, but is also a consistency piece and better going second and everything. So I wanna try to play it. It is also twice per turn though. But once again, it's unlikely you play multiple of this. But it's a really neat concept of a card. So yeah. From what I've seen, this is the ratios for the main deck I would like to play, right? All 12 of the monsters, because we just need all of them. They're all consistency. Clip is a hand trap as well. You're going to always play 3 Cool Tune Synchro. It's the best card in the deck. 1 copy of the field spell, as it's not a starter, and I really want to play 1 copy of the trap. So this is essentially the Cool Tune package we're gonna play in the main deck, which is a solid 17 cards, which still is a lot of room for supplementary engines and non-engine, right? So it's very different from the Dragon Rulers, where if we have the Dragon Rulers on the table, we already have a 40 card deck finished, basically, right? So this deck is going to need some help from other engines and non-engine. But first, let's take a look at the synchros. They actually got a really good amount of synchros in the first wave. We've got Cool Tune RS, which I think is for Red Signal, Cool Tune Trackmaker, Cool Tune Remix, and Cool Tune Loudness War. We've got 4 synchros in the first wave. So a lot of them. And now let's take a quick look at these together, because I actually also don't remember them. Yeah, not all of them. Okay, so Cool Tune Loudness War. Now all of these are tuners, so you can still summon them after you're locked, and they have different levels. So this one is a level 6 that requires 2 or more tuners. Other tuners you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can banish a Cool Tune monster from your grave. Apply that monster's effect that activates when it's sent to the grave as synchro material. You can only use this effect once per turn. So once again, we've got targeting protection here, and we have the ability to copy our graveyard tuner effects once again. Further, like you see where this is going, right? Like you're supposed to repeat. Depending on the matchup, right? Depending on the matchup, you're supposed to repeat these effects over and over and over again until you reach critical mass and you get enough resources away from your opponent, right? As an example, if you play against a deck that is weak to removal, you're supposed to keep using Mix's graveyard effect over and over and over again, right? Use it to make a synchro, then copy it with playlist, then copy it with this, and so on, until you have enough removal to stop their turn. If you're playing against a deck that doesn't care about removal, but only has a lot of one-offs in the extra deck that are really important, you're supposed to keep looping Clip. If your opponent's deck has a lot of really important one-offs in the main deck, you're supposed to loop Q, right? That's the idea. At least the way I interpret this is like you're supposed to loop the one that's strong in any given matchup over and over again. So Loudness War does this as well. We've got Cool Tune Remix, which is gains 1500 attack while your opponent has a tuner in the field or grave. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, tribute this card, choose 2 non-synchro tuners in your grave, add one of them to your hand. If you do special the other, then after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once again, same thing. You can summon this and then reuse some stuff in your graveyard on your opponent's turn. Bring them back, quick synchro, trigger their graveyard effects again. So Remix is really cool. Then we've got Cool Tune Trackmaker, which says, oh, by the way, this one needs Mix. This is a level 5 and it needs Mix. You have to have Mix to make it. Which is not the case for Loudness War. Loudness War is, you can make it with all of them, but for Remix, you need Mix. And for Trackmaker, you need any Cool Tune tuner and another tuner. If this card on the field would be used as synchro material, a tuner in your hand can be used as one of the other materials. So this was kind of like synchro climbing. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can add any Cool Tune card from your deck to your hand. If it's sent to the graveyard, you bounce. So this is something you want to make on turn 1. You want to search either Cool Tune Synchro or the Cool Tune playlist, and then you set it. And then on the opponent's turn, you want to synchro with it, and then bounce one of your opponent's monsters. So this is like a really, really good thing to make on the first turn. But you do need access to any Cool Tune tuner for it, obviously, which shouldn't be a problem. Then we have Cool Tune Red Signal, which I have no idea why they made it short for RS. I think in the OCG, it's just called Cool Tune Red Signal. This is level 5, and it needs Cool Tune Reco plus any plus tuners. Gains 300 attack for each tuner in the graveyard, so this could get pretty big. The levels of monsters your opponent controls with 17 or less original attack are increased by 1. This is the Yummy killer, but Yummy has already been killed by the ban list, so whatever. And also it's Genesys, so we don't care. During the main phase, quick effect, banish a tuner from your grave, then target a face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end phase. You can only use this effect once per turn. This is basically your theme internal hot red, which is really good as well. So honestly, I like what we're working with here, right? I like this is all the Cool Tune cards, and I do think in general we have a pretty cool concept here. We have some pretty high quality cards, and honestly, the playstyle as you know, I'm a big fan of grindier decks, and to me, this deck, even though of course it's a little bit more explosive than let's say Paleo or something like that, the way I interpret this deck from first glance, without actually having entered a tournament with it, what I feel like you're supposed to do with this deck is you're supposed to play multiple turns with your opponent, because you're not making any crazy broken boards with this. Like, you actually don't. You summon a couple of cool tunes, search your cool tune synchro quick play spell or trap card, and then call it a day. And you're supposed to like grind with your opponent and keep looping the correct graveyard effects over and over to outgrind the opponent. Either you're trying to outgrind them via popping their monsters over and over, you can pop spell traps over and over, you can banish from their main deck, you can banish from their extra deck, like depending on what kind of matchup you're playing and what the situation is, you can always pick between those different pieces and so on. It's I like the concept of this deck. I've been a fan of this concept since they've released this deck, and I'm honestly kind of sad that I wasn't able to play it yet in Advanced Constructed, which is why I'm really tempted to play it for Genesys. But yeah, new engage alt art, we can take a look at it in a second. Let me finish this segment. But yeah, so from what I've seen, and I guess we can talk through this real quick, because everyone is playing in the extra deck for Cool Tune. Everyone is just playing 3 of each of these. Everyone is playing 3 red seal or red signal. You guys said red seal. Maybe red seal is correct. Everyone's playing 3 red seal, 3 track maker, 3 remix, and 3 loudness war. Is this because you actually need 3 of each, or is this because you lock yourself into tuners anyways and there isn't much else that you need or want? You need 3 of each. Okay. Is it because they want to play Extrav? I've seen some people play Extrav in this deck, but I've even the people that don't play Extrav have been playing 3 of each of the cool tunes. Just because it's like, I think these are the best things to do anyways. And look, the thing is, like, a lot of these cards give you extra synchro summons, right? It's like, you have Cool Tune Synchro on your turn and your opponent's turn. Cool Tune Clip performs a synchro summon. Remix tags out, performs a synchro summon. Like, you just need a lot of these, I feel like. Because you just keep making them over and over again, because you also need to be worried about, like, resolving your graveyard effects over and over again. So I could see it. I could see playing this, because the only other card I could really think of that would make sense in the extra deck is Metal Marcher, maybe, if you play Effect Veiler. Because Effect Veiler makes it so you can use your level 2s plus Effect Veiler to make Metal Marcher and, like, link climb into higher synchros. Everything else, I didn't really think of anything that you need. Of course, in the future, there is other stuff in the extra deck that you might want. Like, there's more Cool Tune synchros, and there's also Zalen in the thing. You can't play Metal Marcher? Wait, why can't I play Metal Marcher? It's a tuner. Oh, it needs a non-tuner. Oh, okay. Goodbye, Metal Marcher. I was wondering why people didn't play it in Cool Tune. Right, there is a problem there. Okay, that's another reason why they don't play other synchros in this, because you only have tuners, so you don't even have non-tuners. Yeah, I guess that's a good that's a good point. That's a good point. That's why they play 3 of each, because you can't make other shit anyways. Okay, I guess this is a good thing. This is a good thing, because it just means they found a way to properly lock this archetype. You know, who would have guessed? If you want people to play your archetype pure, then there is ways to make them play your archetype pure. Tell that to the Yummy and Mitsurugi designers, I suppose. But yeah, I don't mind that at all. I'm down to play pure Cool Tune. I mean, you know, I'm a fan of that anyways. All right, let's talk about some of the searches we can play in this deck to make it... No, actually, let's talk about this card first. Red Nova. Red Nova is a card that I was fully expecting to be reprinted in Phantom Revenge. It was a shame that it wasn't. Because of this deck, it's gone up in price quite a bit. I don't know if it's calmed down a little bit, because the cards didn't actually do that much yet, but it was pretty expensive for a while. This card is funny because it wasn't really, I don't know, it probably was intended to work with this deck, but it's kind of funny how good it is in this deck in particular and nowhere else. Because this card is a level 1 fairy tuner that says, there's a bunch of text on this that doesn't matter, but the most important part is if this card is sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon that uses 2 or more tuners, you can special a Fire Fiend monster from your deck in defense position. This is such a specific and powerful synergy for this deck that I feel like it has to be intended. So essentially, the basic line, most people are playing this as a one-of. Most people are playing this as a one-of. What you're supposed to do is you go normal summon Q, which summons any tuner from your deck. Special Red Nova. Make probably Track Maker with these two. Where's Track Maker? You make Track Maker. Then Track Maker triggers to search a card. Q triggers to look at the top 2 cards from your opponent's deck. And Red Nova triggers to summon a Fire Fiend monster from your deck. Which luckily we got one that's called Cool Tune Recco, right? And Cool Tune Recco on summon, and then let's say this one searches probably Cool Tune Synchro most of the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then Cool Tune Recco on summon adds a Cool Tune monster from deck or grave to your hand, which, or you could also search the field spell to get an additional normal summon, I guess, for normal summoning Cool Tune Mix. But that just adds a monster. Yeah, quick play or field spell usually, and then Recco can search a monster, which you can search Mix or Clip, and then you can use Recco and Clip. Like, okay, what's a very standard 1-card combo line here? Let's say we want to set up as much as we can off of just Q. Add field spell and search Clip. Okay, if I add field spell and search Clip, I can then Synchro 5 if I want to. Synchro 5 would give me the opportunity to go for Cool Tune Remix, or wait, no, Remix needs Mix. I have to search Mix if I want to make this, right? Yeah. Field spell, tribute the 4, summon the 2. I have one question. As far as I can tell, there is no way to search Cool Tune spell traps other than Track Maker, right? So if I'm searching the field spell, here, I cannot get to the quick play spell, right? Is that correct? For now, I know with the new support, it's not necessary yet because we're building for today. Yes. Okay. In that case, I would prefer to search the quick play spell because I really want that for my opponent's turn. Right? The quick play can add spell trap. Yeah, but like that doesn't help me get to the quick play spell because if the quick play spell is the one that searches other like that, I know, but besides the point. And you can make Remix, but it plays into Nib. So would you say that we've already, like, we're done here? If we do this, if we want to play around Nib, we just pass like this? What do we have? We've got 4 cards in hand. We've got Quick Synchro with Clip. That pops a spell trap. This board is fine. Okay, what do we... Alright, so we've got Q in the grave. We've looked at our opponent's top 2, banished one of them, and the other one is back on top or bottom. So we know what kind of card they've drawn. We get to decide that a little bit. And then we can, on the opponent's turn, activate Cool Tune Synchro to search Mix. And then Mix, and we have a lot of options from here on out, right? We can summon level 6 with 4+2. We can summon level 5 with 3+2. Like, we can make Red Seal or Remix. Yeah. We can make Red Seal or Remix. We can clip into Loudness War as well. Okay, I see it. Okay, we have a decent amount of things here. All right. That's not too bad for a 1-card combo. I like it. It's simple, but it's effective. My question is, do you agree that this is a one-of? Because what I was thinking is like, this paired with any normal summon is probably pretty good to have in your hand, right? You do need Mix for Remix, yeah, but you can use Cool Tune Synchro to search Mix and then perform the Synchro summon with Mix. I play 3 Q, 3 Nova, and 3 Arclight. What, Herald of Arclight? That's not legal. That needs non-tuners. I've only seen people play 1, but I do not get why. I mean, I guess it depends how many high-quality cards you have in this deck, but the reason why I got 3 for myself is because I could see this card just being a very solid draw in this deck, right? Because you summon a tuner and then you just use this from your hand to make Track Maker and then you're good to go, right? I thought that would be something that you would want. I guess the problem is, okay, all right, let's walk through this, okay? This card is at its best when you draw it with Cool Tune Q, right? Because if you draw it with Cool Tune Reco, then it's kind of like redundant, because then you're just summoning another Reco from the deck, but you've already used Reco, right? And it's not great with Mix either, because level 3 we can't do anything with, right? So it only pairs well with Cool Tune Q. Right? Yeah, okay. I think that's fair enough. I think that makes it a one-of for now. Unless there is a really good Synchro 3 that we can make with Mix plus Red Nova. Is there even a legally makeable level 7 Synchro for Cool Tunes? Because it's 2 tuners? No. Okay, yeah, then I think it's 1 Red Nova then. Okay, so we're doing... Let me sort this real quick. We're doing 3 Qs. We're doing 3 Mix. We're doing 3 Reco. We're doing 3 Clip. We're doing 3 Synchro. 1 JJ Cool Tune. We're gonna do 1 playlist because I want to. I'm not saying that's optimal, but like I want to try it. And then we're doing 1 Red Nova. And this is basically the core engine of the deck for the core combos. And now we've got searchers. There's some other searchers that we can play. There is Synchro Overtake, which is a spell that says, reveal a Synchro in your extra deck, choose one of the materials mentioned on it, and add it to your hand or special summon it. Also, you can't special from the extra deck except Synchros. This card is broken in this deck. Because this card is essentially emergency teleport for any Cool Tune that's mentioned on any of them, which is Mix, mentioned on Remix, Reco, mentioned on Red Seal, and... that's it. One of these 2, but that's good enough. It's just a special summon one of these 2 from your deck. It's like a fusion deployment, yeah. So summon Reco or Mix from your deck for free. Both of these trigger on special summon, which is important. Q does not trigger on special summon, so it's good to have Mix and Reco on these. Because you can trigger one that triggers on special. So this is really nice. This is an consistency piece and extender at the same time. You don't care about the lock at all because all of your good plays lock you into synchros, into tuners anyways. So the locking yourself into synchros is irrelevant. So this is like always a 3-of in this deck. This card is phenomenal in here. So we've got that. Then we've got potentially Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper, which is this card to add 1 level 3 or lower Fiend Tuner from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special from the extra deck except Fusion or Synchros. This card searches Cool Tune Reco or Red Nova. So if this is your starter, you can go Stone Sweeper, search Reco. Or if, let's say, you have Cool Tune Q in your hand, you can start with Q. If they negate it or anything like that, or anything else happens, you can go Stone Sweeper for Red Nova and then still do the play, right? So Stone Sweeper is a good option. It is also a tuner. No, it's not a tuner itself. Never mind. I lied. I thought it was a tuner. It searches the tuners. The other one, what was the other one called? Line Walker? The level 3 tuner that we played in Earthbound Runic? I think it was Line Walker, the little level 3 tuner. Okay. Oh no, Nova is a fairy. We can't search that. I made that up, unfortunately. Okay. That makes it worse, because that's just... So, what I was thinking about is like, do we have to play 3 Stone Sweeper? Because is Rekko even the best starter? Is Rekko the best starter for this deck? Because it's like, it feels kind of mid. It ends on Remix Pass. Yeah. Q is the best one, yeah. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about playing 3 Stone Sweepers if Rekko is not that great of a starter, but I've seen people play it. I wanted to mention it. We can think about it. And then there's another card. It's called the Duelist Genesys. If you have a tuner in your field or grave, add a Synchro Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 per turn. I like this card, even though it does rely on having a normal summon already, or at least if you're going second, you can discard a hand trap, and then, you know, that works. This card searches Synchro Overtake and Cool Tune Synchro. So it's like there's a little bit of a risk attached to playing this card, because it might be dead in your hand if you don't have a tuner, and sometimes there's going to be weird games where you have to like normal summon Ghost Ogre because you need a tuner on the field to activate it. But all things considered, I think it's a pretty strong card because it searches, in my opinion, the 2 best cards in the deck. At my first impression, I think Synchro Overtake and Cool Tune Synchro are the 2 best consistency / extenders in the deck. So having a searcher that searches those 2, it seems pretty good to me. I'm not sure if it's a 3 of, but I would play it. It is once per turn, so I could see it being a 1 or 2 of, but I do think this card is pretty solid. So these 2 are optional additional consistency pieces for the deck that we can play. I have to count in a second how many cards that is, though, if we need more starters or anything like that. In theory, you can also play Reinforcement of the Army, because Cool Tune Mix is technically also a starter. But once again, anything that isn't Cool Tune Q, I'm not sure how happy you are to normal summon it. But Reinforcement of the Army is also an option because it searches your Cool Tunes. And I guess that's the advantage of having so many different typings and whatever, is you can play a couple of different searchers to get a couple of different things. But Rhoda in Genesys is too many points. I was referring more to like Rhoda in general. In Genesys, we're not going to play Rhoda because it's like 30 or 40 points. I don't remember. But yeah. Overtake makes Mix a good starter. If you summon it with Overtake and you still have a normal summon, yes. Because then you can just search Q. Okay. So this is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 20, 21 cards we are going to play for sure. 6 cards that are optional. And then I think the rest could be non-engine. And for non-engine in this deck, from what I've seen, you just do hand traps, depending on how many points you want to spend. Because, of course, level 3 hand traps are good synergy with this deck, because you can use them as synchro material. So cards like Ash, Mourner, Ogre, Bell are all options, even though Ash Blossom is really expensive. I don't know if we can fit it, but these cards are solid. And then there's more niche stuff. You can play Effect Veiler, although I'm not sure how I feel about Effect Veiler because it's a level 1. So it doesn't work with every single starter. For example, if you start with a level 2 normal summon and then you have Veiler in hand, you can't make anything with that. That was originally why I wanted to play Metal Marcher, but I forgot that it needs a non-tuner. But yeah. Veiler is an option. And I've seen people play Cyframes. Because they're also tuners. Yeah, I don't know. Does Gamma have points? I think Gamma has points in Genesys. Hold up. Let me look that up real quick. Let me quickly check. Time frame, yeah, delta has 7, epsilon has 7, and gamma has 15. So they have points, but they are options. Okay, so let's talk about points real quick. We've got 5 points, I believe, on Cool Tune Q, and we've got 5 points on Cool Tune Clip, if I remember correctly. That's it for the Cool Tunes. Yeah, so 5 points on the best starter and 5 points on the hand trap. However, that is obviously not going to stop us from playing 3 of each, which means we are playing everything you see here is a total of 30 points. So we have 70 points to spend. 70 points to spend is, in theory, not all. I think all of these hand traps would be too much. Okay, so 3 Ash Blossoms would be 45. I think Ash is going to be the biggest problem here with the points. But Bell is 5 points, so this would be 60 already. Ghost Ogre and Mourner, I think, are both 3. So this would be another 18. So this would be, yeah, 78 already. And then Veiler is 7, which is 21. So this entire lineup is already 99 points. We cannot do the full lineup. We cannot do the full lineup, but we could do this. Right? 15, 30, 39, 48, 68. No, 69. Nice. That is 69 points plus the 30 points from the Cool Tune. We have 1 point left. We have 1 point left, technically. Or, hear me out. This, right? This also works. This is now 1 point more than before, because I cut 14, I added 15. That would be 70 points exactly. Right? Now, how good, here's the thing, right? How good do you think Ghost Ogre and Ghost Bell and Ghost Mourner are in current Genesys format? Like, how good are these cards? The ones with few points. Like, what are some good applications for like Bell and Ogre? Ghost Ogre is pretty good. What do you Ghost Ogre in general, like in Genesys format right now? I guess like I don't know. It's just gonna be a mixed bag of matchups anyways. Bell is kind of meh. I mean, can I somehow play 3 Veiler and 3 Ash? That seems impossible. 45, 66. I can only play one copy of one of these. Not even Bell. Bell doesn't even work. If I want to play 3 Veiler, 3 Ash, then I could only do like this. That doesn't seem great. That doesn't seem great. Ash is searchable anyways. What? I can summon it with Q, but how do I get it back to my hand? Add it back with Remix. Hold up. Oh! Right. Yeah, Remix is tribute this card, choose 2 non-synchro tuners, add one of them to your hand, special the other. Ah, yeah. All right, speaking of remixes, I guess. All right. No, then let's do I'm okay with doing 1 Ash then. Okay, hold up. That is this lineup then, right? Yeah. I'm down to not play any Psyframes because driver. Okay, hold up. This is 13. This was 21. 34. If we play 3 and 3 of these, that would be exactly 40 cards. I'm not sure if I'm vibing with 3 copies of each of these, though. I'm not sure. I'd rather play 2 or 3 more non-engine. Is there any other synergistic non-engine that makes sense? I think this card is good. I want to play 3 Duelist Genesys. I like that card. I'm not sure how I feel about Stone Sweeper, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how I feel about Stone Sweeper. I guess it's better to open Reco than to not have a star. How many starters do we have? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. These don't really count. Like, we are on like the verge of consistent enough, I think. Cycle Reader is a hand trap tuner. Is there any deck that Cycle Reader is good against in Genesys, though? Probably not, right? There's no Fiendsmith. If I wanted to play other non-engine, what would it be? Like, of course, I can play like DD Crow, but I don't know. Play 1 more field spell, 1 more Nova. Like, that's the thing, right? The field spell and Nova are like better in hands that can already play, like in 2-card combinations. The field spell and Nova are pretty solid. This is better as like a 1-card combo, right? Which I guess, you know, I think it would be okay to start playing with 3 and 3, because I like, the one thing I would hate to do today is just keep bricking, right? I'm okay with drawing maybe too much engine or like some engine cards that are suboptimal, but I just don't want to brick today, because then I'm not going to experience the deck, right? If I draw too much engine and then I play, but I lose because I don't have non-engine in my hand, that's okay, because then at least I've played the game, right? And I've kind of like learned something about the deck. I don't want to brick, is kind of like how I'm feeling. So what you're seeing on the table right now, move this out of the glare. What you're seeing right now is, I think, exactly 40 cards and like 99 points. If I didn't miscalculate. So 30, this is, hold up. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21, 27, 30. Yes, this is exactly 40 cards. This is exactly 40 cards. We've got 30 points from the cool tunes, 15 from Ash, which is 45. Bell is 5 points, which is 60. Ogre is 3, which is 69. Mourner is 3, which is 78. Veiler is 7, so that is 21, which makes it 99 total. Yes. So this would work. 40 card deck, 99 points. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm down to try this. The fact that you can still afford Ash is broken. It's one Ash. It is a singular copy of Ash. If like, for example, if Bell is bad in the format, then you could cut 3 Bells to play 1 Ash. Or you could do that. I could see that being a thing. 3 Red Nova and 3 Orange Light is a good option too. I'm not a fan of Herald of the Orange Light if you don't have like a good discard for it. I don't want to discard my engine cards for Orange Light. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that technique. Maybe once I get once I get deeper into the cool tune sauce, I might be able to play around with stuff like that, but for now I don't want to play. I don't want to like discard my best starter going second when I Orange Light something. Right? Well, yeah, okay. So that is that would be a 40 card main deck. Extra deck, is there anything I need other than the cool tune cards at 3? Is there even anything I can make that like people recommend playing in this deck. Vanadium Prime Heart. Dude, do I have a Vanadium Prime Heart? I don't even know what that card does anymore. I just know something Psychic Energy Blades. Do I have a Vanadium Prime Heart? No. I have a Vanadium Trisukta, but not a Prime Heart. Prime Heart is fake, you never summon it. You can make Silvera. Oh, wait, can we make Silvera on the opponent's turn? That's not bad, is it? Yeah, hold up. Needs a non-tuner? Ah, dude. Probably, yeah. Let me check. Chat keeps saying something and I keep believing it. Yeah, they all need non-tuners, man. Silvera needs non-tuners, yeah. Yeah, you can make it. Visas? Hold up. Visas Armitara is a tuner and light monster. You can add a spell trap that mentions Visas Starfrost. During your main phase, you can destroy a monster you control. Also, all synchros gain 800. Sure, maybe it's an option. At least it was a suggestion that I can legally summon because it needs light monsters. We do have light monsters, right? Trackmaker, Loudness War. Sure. So this is like what you search Vanadium Reframing. Is Vanadium Reframing free in Genesys? No, right? Oh, it is. I mean, yeah, you can maybe play a reframing, and then like I would side deck the reframing for going first, if anything. But yeah, the other thing you can do is you can just play Ultimate Slayer targets, I guess, right? That's something that's been very good in Genesys in general, is Ultimate Slayer. So you could just play you can just play Ultimate Slayer in the side deck and use your extra deck space on Garura, Malong, Aggregator. Those are all 0, right? That could just be the last 3. I think that's okay. Right? That sounds like a reasonable extra deck. And then your side deck would have 3... Your side deck would be like the most Genesys side deck ever, right? You just play like 3 pros, 3 kaijus, 3 back row removal, 3 Ultimate Slayer, and 1 whatever. Right? I do not have Gravity Collapse, and I don't intend on playing Gravity Collapse. I don't have it, and I don't want to play it in Genesys format, all right? Yeah. So, this is not that much for Draco Tail. The Draco Tail matchup is probably okay because we have Bell and Ash for the traps, and Draco Tail has gotten more points anyways. We also have Mourner and Veiler for Arthalion, so it shouldn't be the craziest hard matchup. But like, what's a good card against Draco Tail in Genesys format other than the ones we already have? Non-fusion, not non-fusion area, please. I don't even own non-fusion area. I don't have that card. How many points is different dimension ground? No. Double cyclone? Double cyclone could be cool. Is it worth playing? I mean, I don't have that many spells though, right? If I draw double cyclone without these, is it worth? Is Draco Tail really that popular in Genesys that is worth playing a card just for it? No. But what else do I need an answer for anyways? What are people playing in Genesys currently, right? Cool Tune, Vanquish Soul, Radiant Typhoon, I guess, is good still. I do have Cosmics for Radiant Typhoon. Radiant Typhoon. What's a really good card against Radiant Typhoon? Anti-magic arrows. Anti-magic arrows is cool. But can I break the board in main 2 if I can't activate my good spell cards as well? 3 Dark Ruler for Doomsy and Onomat Slop. How relevant is Kaiju's? Like, how relevant is it to have an out to like a towers? Do I need it? Let me look. A Dark Ruler seems reasonable. A tech I've seen in Cool Tune is Naturia Rose Whip. Maybe something to consider. It's a floodgate though. Dude, I don't know if I have that, but you can't summon that with the thing, right? It is cringe, but you can just summon it with the thing, right? The Q. Where's my Dark Ruler? Whatever, I'll find my Dark Rulers later. I played them somewheres and I haven't sorted them back in. It's okay. I might just do Dark Ruler as the last one and just kind of play. I want to get a feel for the deck. I don't think the perfect side deck is that important. Okay. Is this going to be more fun for me than Dragon Rulers? Maybe, maybe not, probably not, but realistically, I do want to learn this deck because I do like it. It is going to be fun for me. I do think it does feel like a fun deck to me. I like it. Can you do some test hands? I haven't even sleeved it all yet. I guess we can talk about, one thing I want to talk about is like the different things you can make from the different starters, I guess, is something we should at least consider. So I don't sit there round 1 and have no idea what to do, right? So we've talked about Cool Tune Q, summon Red Nova, make Trackmaker, Nova triggers to summon Rekko, and then Trackmaker searches the quick play spell. So that is what you do when you start with Q. Clip obviously isn't a 1-card combo. Rekko 1-card combo. What does Rekko do? You summon it. It says add a Cool Tune monster from deck or grave to your hand except a level 3. So we search mix or clip are the 2 options. And then we can make I guess we search clip. Oh no, we have to search mix if we want to end on remix. Okay, this is not a lot. So we search mix, we synchro into remix, which says, yeah, okay. Then on the opponent, it's not nothing, right? It's like you tribute this on the opponent's turn. Let's say even if you have nothing else, you bring these two back, and then you can synchro into red seal. Then you pop a monster, pop a spell trap, and then this negates a card. You know, for worst case, I guess. For worst case, it's kind of okay. Because if that's the thing, right? If I don't have any other cards in my hand that change anything, then I have 4 hand traps, right? And then it's probably okay. All right, like it's gonna change if I have other cards in hand. Like if I draw any other cool tunes, then it's a different line. But yeah, just fundamentally this. And then okay, what about mix? Is mix the same thing then? If I just have mix, because on summon it searches not a level 2, so it searches Reco or Q, but I can't normal summon the Q unless I draw the field spell. So if I start with mix, I search Reco or Q. No, mix is full combo. Enlighten me on that. Mix is really good with Psi frames because they're level 2 and you can make track maker, I guess. Mix search 2 make track maker. That's not legal. It says search anything except a level 2. That is not something you can do. That is like literally the first clause on the search effect. So I think mix is okay. Mix and Reco are pretty simple because they don't go that far yet. Okay. Right. You know, this deck to me feels like, at least from first impression, and this is a good thing, this deck feels like the first turn boards and combos are very low to the ground and very short. And most of it, like most of the things happen when you start interacting with your opponent on their turn. Which I think, on the one hand, I get what you're saying. It seems underwhelming compared to some other decks in the format right now. But my argument is I think more decks should feel like that, personally. I think this is a direction that I vibe with, and I think they should make more decks like this instead of just making more broken decks. I think if we just keep making archetypes like this, and we phase out the currently broken archetypes, then I think that's a good thing. Because this is something that like I thought about recently, is like we've got a couple of products already announced for 2026, right? We know what's in Burst Protocol, we know what's in Blazing Dominion after, and like most of it looks weaker compared to Mitsurugi, Yami, K9, and so on and so forth. So it feels like the power level of the archetypes is going down a little bit. So if they handle those other archetypes that I just mentioned on ban lists accordingly until we get those cards, then I think the power level of those archetypes is going to go down a little bit, which I think is a good thing, all things considered. I'm happy with it. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see how this deck feels when I play it. So don't worry. You are going to get gameplay from this deck because I'm bringing it to locals today and I'm going to be recording my locals. So we are going to take a look at how this deck plays tomorrow. Of course, I'm not going to play it perfectly. I'm going to play it at locals. I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm not going to see all of the lines because it's going to be my first time playing the deck, but I'm still excited. I think it's going to be fun. And I think I should play this over Dragon Ruler because, of course, the Dragon Ruler deck that we built earlier is also super fun, but I've played that before. This is a new deck. I want to get some experience with it, especially since they've got good legacy support on the horizon. I think it's good to familiarize myself with how this deck plays right now already, so that I kind of know what's going on once those support cards come out. That's always good to be prepared. So, okay. That's that. how do you feel about this deck post support? I mean, I don't even know how to feel about this deck right now because I haven't played it yet. So yeah. Generally, what's your approach when learning a new deck? I like doing what we just did, which is like, I mean, I guess it's kind of unique for me because I'm a streamer, so I can like show it on stream and talk to you guys about certain things, because that does help iron out some of the things that I like maybe don't understand yet about the deck or didn't realize. Like, for example, like, oh, you can't make Metal Marcher, or when your thing gets Effect Veiler, then you can still synchro with them, right? It's just like some basics. I like to learn before I play, but my favorite way to learn decks is just playing. I just like going to locals, and even if it means I mess up or whatever, I don't really care. I just want to like get an idea for how the deck is supposed to work. And then once I've played it a little bit, then I get into the more detailed stuff, like, oh, what kind of engines can you play, and like how can you make it, how can you perfect it, basically. But for the beginning, I like if I still remember my first locals with Draco Tail, and I did a lot of things wrong in that first local in terms of like I misplayed, I didn't see all the lines and stuff like that. Like I attempted to summon like a non-Draco Tail with Mululu or Rahu or whatever because I wasn't familiar with the deck yet. That kind of thing is super normal for everybody. It's not like, it's not just a beginner problem. It's everyone kind of like has this, and that's why I like to use like locals and whatever for my first testing, because you know you gotta learn decks the hard way, I think. The best way to learn a format is to play the majority of the decks like an hour with a standard list. I do think this is a very advanced thing. I feel like for a lot of, I mean, for the majority of people, they just play their own decks. But yes, if you wanna truly learn a format and truly master a format, you should play as many decks as possible from that format to get an understanding for not only how they work, but also what they're weak to. But yeah. Okay. So we've got a little bit of extra time since we finished the Genesys deck building. I do have to end stream a little bit earlier today than usual, but not yet. So we can jump into some more Master Duel. But yeah. Oh yeah, the new Sky Striker. Hold up. The third Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Also from the Limit Over collection. Oh, that's it. Okay, we just get a new alt art Engage. You know, it's kind of cool. I like it. Engage tier list when? I mean, kind of hard to make a tier list with 3 artworks. I do like both artworks of Engage so far. I do like the OG one because it's like it is the OG Engage. I do like it. The classic. I like the dark one as well though. Like the red dark Engage has a pretty cool look to it. The rose Engage, I like that one a lot too. This one's kind of cute, but I probably wouldn't use it. I think the other two are just cooler and more badass. This one's like, you know, it's like kind of like a toon version of Engage. I like the other two more, I think. Just play 1-1-1. Don't do that. So I don't hate it. I think it's cool, but I probably don't think it's better than the other two. It's probably my least favorite of the 3, all things considered. Okay. All right. Besides the fact that I've opened evenly matched, I just queued into a deck with Sky Striker without much thought with Paleo. So welcome everybody to another hour of Paleo gaming. Do I set my evenly matched? I don't think so. Just in case it's Mitsurugi and I need a discard, or I draw Dynamicious, I'll keep it in hand. This is a pretty interesting spot. I think I have to wait with the Ice Dragon's Prison. Oh, they placed it from hand. That's nice. Oh, I was hoping they would activate it. I was very scared of them special summoning a Yummy right now. But this is perfect. If this IDP, if this works, I'm really happy. No bell, no bell. Oh. Why does my rogue paleo deck get cooked by every non-engine? Surprise and 2 names. Add back minion for the attack boost so they can go for game. I had to work a bit and missed the cool tune section. What did you end up thinking on it? I like it. I'm gonna try it today. It is really annoying that they went for double Snatchy Revive there, which didn't really make that much sense, but it plays around Balance of Judgment really well. This just draws one card now, but I have to clear for evenly. Okay, Field Spell banished. Is a win con if I've ever seen one. 2 Snatchies engrave. I think they have Ash in hand as well. They thought about ashing my balance. It could be a... It could be... something else. Problem is Sting cannot recycle Sting. So drawing 2 of them is pretty bad. But the Graveyard Banishes is nice on the Snatchies, maybe. It's Mitsu time. I mean, if they play Mitsu as well, I can't win. But I'm like kind of hopeful. Because they let the... I have no idea how they let the minion get banished, even face down. So I might have a decent amount of time here. We'll see. Right Elf is of course broken though. Okay, this is not guaranteed combo. This would have been guaranteed combo if they did it next turn. Or Saji. I guess it's... if they search Kusanagi and summon it here, then that works. No. Okay. If they did this in my turn, they could have just searched monster and spell now, because Saji is once per turn. Now they have to summon Kusanagi, I guess? It does work next turn still. I don't think I have a top deck here, but maybe grass resolves. Who knows? Oh, I think it's Maxi in hand. Maxi Habakiri. That is not grass. Yep. It was probably winnable if it just wasn't yummy, but not with the Mitsu engine on top. The yummy part would have taken forever to kill me. I would have had so much time because they got rid of the field spell. Maybe this is not the worst. Well, who am I kidding? It's probably the worst. It depends. I guess it depends what they do, right? If they go for Protoss or something, I don't care. So maybe it's beatable. Detonator is a huge problem, though. Oh, they have they had X and Ice. Nice. One last ride with Ryziel Cross. Yeah. And here come the Omni Negates. It's probably worse for me that it's Mitsu than Onomat, which is crazy to say because I hate Onomat so much, but I think for this particular deck, I think the Mitsurugi part is harder to beat because it adds so much grind game. And also if they play the negate trap, of course. If they don't play the trap, but everyone's been playing the trap. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Why not hand loop? Can you at least hit a paleo? No? Okay. This card is dead because I can't keep 2 cards in hand. And if I only keep 1, then Murakumo just negates it. Maybe I should have kept the Lee and Kolya in hand. It doesn't matter. I don't think I can beat this. Detonator alone was a problem? Not really, no. Does Paleo feel worse now than in Snake Eye format? Yeah. I mean, not yes and no. Because like Paleo right now it's weird because Paleo there's one half of the format which is the pure decks that you can actually play Yu-Gi-Oh with. Paleo is not good against, but fine. Like I'm okay playing against pure Yami, pure Mitsu, pure Draco Tail. Like all of those matchups are playable. They're not favored because it's Paleo, but it's like okay. Well, as soon as you play against any of the hybrids, you just explode. You just don't have enough. You can't have enough traps to stop the onslaught of whatever those engines do. It is not possible. How good is DDD against traps? One spell trap negate. The problem is more like my hand is ass. If my hand was better, then this could be a... I mean, it might still be winnable. We'll see what they end on. I guess their turn gives me time to eat lunch, because it's already kind of late for lunch, but... You say this every day, always you eat lunch at 3 p.m. Yeah, my sleep schedule is not great right now. I stay up late and I wake up late. Which works because, I mean, I guess it works for me with my schedule. It's not the end of the world. How's YCS prep going? It's going well, I'd say. I like the format so far from my first impression. I'm currently still on the train of I'm probably going to play one of the grindy decks, and by grindy decks I mean like Radiant Typhoon, Sky Striker, or Draco Tail branded. Those are so far my favorites. I haven't decided which one I like most yet, but I'm working on those right now. Because I'm not rolling up to that YCS with K9 Christian. That's not happening. Aren't you worried about timeout? A little bit, yeah. But it's just something where I think I need to practice it a lot so I can play fast with the and know when to scoop the matchups if I don't have a chance. But yes, I'm a little worried about that. Isn't this guy in Burst Protocol? This come out early in Master Duel? Yeah. I'm very glad that they are releasing very important stuff like the DDD stuff in advance for player experience, right? Like, that's really good. That's much better than if we had gotten Holy Su in time, right? I'm glad we have our priorities in order, because imagine we could have gotten Holy Su before K9, so we could have experienced pure Vanquish Soul. That wouldn't be right. What we do need is, we need DDD to be on top of their game as fast as possible. So that people, you know, like myself, if you play Master Duel and you have lunch on your table and now I've finished my entire plate. All right, I'm done now. Oh, damn. Can I just run over the Siegfried in battle, or is something crazy gonna happen? Queen will pop you, no queen in extra deck. Guys, what's the attack points of the queen? Dude, you can't, it's just not fair, man. It is just not fair. What are the odds I die this turn? They have to be 100%. There's no way I don't die, right? There's no way. Am I missing something? Is there something else? There's no way, man. There is simply no way. Give me more shit that targets, please. Did they summon from extra deck twice? No, right? Things. Yeah, I milled 2 rollbacks. No paleos though. Who are you? What is happening? This card destroys monsters by battle, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Piercing battle damage. Target Dark Contract continuous spell traps up to the number of deities. Place them face up on your field. Okay. That's a problem. I guess I would have used Fiend Griefing if I knew that was a thing. Pick. That triggers the Queen and Extra deck, right? Which is a non-target pop. That's why I chained the Trapaholic. They timed out. They timed out, but I'm pretty sure we win that anyways. But, dude, I don't even know. I would have liked them to not time out, so now I could have played with them. Because I watched you play for I don't know how many minutes. Now it was my turn to play, and I would have played with you. We would have been here a while, all right? Like, we would have, when I say we would have played, we would have played. You would have gotten out of this one on my terms, not on yours. But the timer says otherwise. All right. Oh, God. I mean, yeah, they were probably low on time, right? There's no way I shouldn't have lost on that reboot turn, but okay. Gamers, I need to get ready for locals. I need to still sleeve my deck and then leave. So I'm in time. I have to catch the train, and I don't think we can queue another paleo game because that might take way too long, and I'm gonna be late for locals otherwise. But okay. Thank you all so much for joining today. I'm gonna go to locals. I'm gonna record my locals as well, so we can take a look at the footage tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun one. We're doing other fun things for the rest of this week. We've got Deck Doctor planned for Friday. You can join the Discord server. I'm opening deck submissions soon for people that aren't subscribers or patrons. At the moment, it is still exclusive for patrons and subscribers, but I'm gonna do that soon. And we're also doing remote duels on Sunday that I'm still gonna be looking for opponents for soon as well. So gonna be a fun rest of the week. I'll see you tomorrow. Gonna head to locals now. Let me find someone to raid real quick. Let me see who's live already. Oh, Farfa is. Okay, I'll send you over to Farfa. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Thank you to everyone who subscribed or followed or even just watched. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace. Bye-bye.